So Megs has a gunky eye and she's going to have them flushed soon, but we're going to have a look at just trying to see if we can train her to have her eye targeted and wiped using cooperative care. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to just work on how she feels about having her eyes touched. At the moment she's quite head shy, she doesn't like it, as you'll see in a minute when I try. And all I'm going to do is work through a systematic approach to just condition her to understand that actually when she has her eyes targeted or touched, that she gets rewarded for it. And if she stands still nicely for me, then she gets rewarded for that as well. So there, I'm going to just click and just reward that when she's standing nicely in default neutral. And all we're trying to do is we're just trying to make sure that she can cope with it. This is slightly different from using a consent cue where we'd ask for her permission first. I'm actually not going to ask her for permission. I'm just going to work with her slowly to just approach her and be able to wipe those eyes nicely without having to try and use any force or any pressure release. So I'm going to just let her be in default neutral. So when she's just stood there nicely for me, I'll click and reward, just like that. Good girl. And I'm going to just show her the piece of tissue I'm going to use as my little target and just see what she has to say about that. Any sign that she shows towards it, I'll click and reward, even if it's not where I want it to be. I just want to get any successful approximation, any step towards the right direction. Good girl. So you see there she moves away, so I'll drop it down. And just wait. Good girl. Good girl. And the reason I clicked that is because she didn't immediately move away. Although she didn't target it and didn't touch it, I'm just trying to get her to understand that the position she needs to be in is just standing still next to me while I move the white thing around, basically. Good girl. And that's it, good girl. And really this is just an extension of default neutral, because all I'm going to ask of her the entire time is just to stay still and just basically accept and cooperate with the care being done. So when she's got her head nice and straight, I'll click again. That's it, good girl. And I'm going to offer this up, and there she's to stayed nice and still. So I'll click again. Good girl. And all I'm doing is moving the white tissue about, getting closer. I'm just asking her to stay in default neutral. Good girl. There's a slight movement there, I could have waited on that click. Good girl. So I'm just working my way closer, just very, very gradually, just stepping closer towards her with the tissue and just making sure I catch her under threshold. What that means is I'm not trying to provoke a response, I'm not trying to get her to move away and come back to me. I just want her to stand there really nicely and just accept that the white tissue is moving around in front of her, near her eyes, where they're going to be. I click that because although she moved towards it, so I'll capture it. I'll take what I'm given. Good girl. And you know that the training's going well when it looks really boring and nothing particularly spooky happens. If I can just work the whole way towards her, just staying exactly still, staying exactly happy as she is, and I can then move towards touching and starting to actually get her to move her eye towards the target, that'd be great. I'm actually going to click that because she moved her head towards me just as I lifted that tissue up. Just see what she does. Nothing. So I'll click it, reward it. And there's two ways to approach this. You could really go the kind of cooperative route and get her to target it. We might move on to that, but I'm quite happy with her just staying in default neutral and just simply allowing me to go near her with it and just allowing me to touch her with it. Go. And we'll take that. So there, I've touched her with it, not a single movement. So now I'm going to just try that again. Good girl. And now I can move quite fast, quite a high rate of reinforcement. Now I've got that initial habituation, she's letting me move towards her with it and touch her with it. I can now just move closer and closer towards the eye. Good girl. And I'm being quite careful of my feeding position as well here, that I'm actually making sure I'm keeping her in this default neutral state. I'm not feeding her back here or too far forward or left or right. I'm not interested in moving her head too much. I just want it to be nice and relaxed. And we'll get her eyes cleaned up. Good girl. That's it. So now I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to target that, I'm not going to click it, I'm just going to wait. There we go. So I could have targeted, clicked when she targeted it just there, but I decided just to wait for the response that I actually want, which is her standing still. If you change your response too much, or you change when you're clicking too much in the training session, you'll just end up with a behaviour that looks nothing like what you wanted in the first place. Go. That was really nice. Good girl. So now I'm actually able to touch her eye with it. I'm going to just start adding in a stroke, so she's feeling that new sensation. Only once at a time. Wait for her to go back to default neutral. Present it. One stroke, then click. Next time I'll aim for one stroke again. Check she's comfortable, then I'll aim for 2, 3, 4, and start to build up from there. Good girl. So I'll just wait for default neutral. That's it. Good girl. Good girl. The only reason I didn't click that first stroke is because she moved away slightly. So I waited until I had a second stroke where her head was dead still. So there, I'll wait. Good girl, there we go. And I'll use my feeding position just to bring her head back towards me again, back down. Good girl. I'm actually going to jackpot that one because I've done a couple of strokes. I'm going to let her be. If I keep the training session going on too long, I'll end up just getting frustration from her. So I'm going to just let her have a couple of treats on the floor. Let her enjoy that. And then we'll start again. It's really important to respect when she moves away like that, even if we've just had 3 or 4 successful runs, repetitions of the same behaviour. I'd rather move away, let her tell me when she's comfortable. And that's the whole point. It's not about trying to just progress either way. Of course, when you need to get something done, you need to get something done. But if you're in a training context where you're trying to train a behaviour, we want to make sure that we're trying to do it in a way that is manageable for her. Good girl. There's that frustration I was talking about a second ago. That's because I haven't clicked anything yet. But she hasn't given me much to click, so I'm just trying to get something. So there, I can't click that. I'll try again. I'll take it. Although she moves slightly, I will take it. Just to get her back on track. Good girl, that's it. Good girl. And you can see there, I just held it for slightly longer. Just let her rest and relax with it. Good girl. Because it's that building duration that we want to get as well. If we can only ever do 1 repetition, it's going to take us a long time to clean any eyes. Good. So you can see there that I didn't click the first one, and therefore she waited for me to do it again, almost anticipating the reward, but didn't get it. And that's actually quite helpful in that case because she moved away slightly. I didn't reward it, I didn't click it, She didn't get what she wanted, but the second time when she stood deadly still, I clicked it. And that's how you can consistently move forward. You don't have to constantly go back and forth up the shaping ladder. If you've seen consistent progress, we do want to step forward. We do want to start seeing the same behaviour improving every single time. Good girl. Yes, that's a really nice one there. Click Gully. Yeah, lovely. So if I was going to build up to actually being able to scrub her eyes and have her consistently stay still, I would want to do it whereby I'm working with her in default neutral rather than the targeting approach. Reason being, if she's trying to target my sponge or cloth or tissue, whatever it is, her head is moving towards it actively, and therefore I can't easily just keep her still, keep her relaxed. Whereas if I'm doing with default neutral, just like that, then it gives me the opportunity for her to just stay nice and still for me, and I can then start to build in those strokes. I can start to build in clicking when I do 1 stroke, then 3 strokes, then 4 strokes, and start to really build it up where I then maybe go back to clicking after 1 stroke, and I start to make it very variable and not consistent. The less consistent it is, the less she can anticipate when I'm going to stop. Therefore, the less likely she is to try and step away early. She'll want to stay for longer. She'll want to stay until she gets that click. So we can really use that to our advantage. So the whole time with her, all I'm trying to focus on is I'm just trying to make sure that I'm training the behaviour that I want to see long term, and it's going to give me the most long term success. And for me, having her in default neutral, just standing there nicely, is perfectly fine. If I was trying to work with a feral horse that wasn't happy to accept touch, I may have to go down the eye targeting approach, whereby she's actually moving her eye and targeting the tissue with it. But given that she's quite happy and that she will generally accept touch anywhere within reason, I'm quite happy just to train it this way and just allow her to accept me doing it.